Hey, it is September 17th, 2022, currently 9:34 a.m., 900 hours. Recently, I had watched my videos I had put on this subject matter, and I'm like, kind of did more comfort talk than subject matter, so now I got to outline. And this is about what guides me, okay? So let me get started on that. I think I'm gonna do a better job, consolidate, put everything into one, and shorten this. So two videos, one. Now, we were never taught the science of mating, war, or finance. You know, it was taken away from us. We once had it. Hell, we once who gave it to those who, you know, do use it. And white folks, no, they don't use it. They got our ass in the same boxes they're in. It's gonna be a class of their people, a certain class, a small percentage, a smaller percentage. Because for the most part, America is on a dysfunctional platform. Even the psychologists say that. From the secret way back in 2006, it says 85% of American families are dysfunctional. It's because you was taught to be dysfunctional. It's systematic. That's the only way it's going to be 85%. It's not happenstance. Nobody, that's an organized, when it's happening coast to coast, it is a part of a construct of the society. That is an organized, institutionalized purpose. Okay? It wasn't always like that. It got like that. Someone made it that way. Look at the steps they took to get us where we are today. They took the corporal punishment out of school, out of the home. They got the men out of the home so they can dominate the home with the television, the edu-training of the society in the schools. At one time, at least, in my generation, for some reason, my generation was fooled to believe some other stupid shit. We didn't talk back to adults. Because, like I said, I converted to the Nation of Islam at 15. Older people was like, oh, you'll be back, baby. You just going through something. Jesus too strong. Man, I was going home in high school reading books. I could have said some stuff to them, but I didn't. I've been falling asleep in books since high school. I don't do it anymore because it's like nobody want to hear it. It's quiet enough, and to my status changes, I'm not interested in acquiring like book. I still do information, read little stuff here and there, and definitely look at stuff. But here I go again with that shit. Fuck it. Okay. What guides me? Nature. Let me share with the information that I get from, and I'm share. Okay. Remember, I had there's a rice monk experiment. Well, this monk took 3 jars of rice, and he done an experiment. He put the rice in water, and one was a control. It was just rice and water that was left alone to do what it would do naturally, the control of the experiment. He took the other two, and one, and in separation, he would say negative things. You're ugly, you're dumb, you're stupid. He would say negative things to energy. Words, vibrations. Everything's vibrations. Look at the Hermetic philosophy. I put that as a thumbnail for this video, like I did the other one. But yeah. In the other one, he said, jar of rice, he said positive affirmations. You're beautiful, you're pretty, I love you, and things like that. Over many days, the experiment, the rice with the positive affirmations fermented with a beautiful sweet smell, with an attractive sweet smell. The rice with the negative, putrid, molded, rotten, horrible smell. The natural experiment, it just kind of like in the middle. It just naturally, it's rotten, it's no good, it's fermented. It's just going through a natural process. But it's not in the worst, but the negative jar that got the negative affirmations in, or it is in the worst condition. How do you talk to your children? How do you talk to your spouse? How do we talk to, not you, but we? How do we talk to our children? How do we talk to our spouse? That's guidance for me right there. You know, oh, your Bible says this, that, and the other. The tree, you judge a tree by the fruit it bears. The church is not impressive. The Bible is not impressive. The Quran not impressive. Islam is not impressive right now. So, I don't give a damn about none of that stuff. I got my own program of guidance. Because I look at the God concept as this, and I'm gonna get back. I'm, still in my intro. I'm gonna finish up with this right quick. I'm gonna get to that section. Get back my list. Keep it going here. Keep it open. I mean, the other day there was some deer in the backyard. I was outside painting. I'm here in Mountain, Tennessee, right? These deer come out very close to humans. They're very comfortable. But how long has this community been here? Deers living in close proximity with humans, their genes, their instincts, the environment has caused an adaptation. It has like semi-domesticated them. Because if they was out in the wilderness, they're not gonna come in the eyesight of a human being. But they live in an environment that either deactivated those instincts of their brothers that's in nature, that deep nature where they rarely see humans and going to try their best to keep away from humans. Those are deactivated genes. Because genetics is information, is the guidance of your evolutionary biology. We have 5 senses. We are taking information in from our environment. This information is being encoded. Let's say we're computers. And genetics is this biotechnology we're talking about. Made by the universe. The masculine and feminine creative forces of the universe. And the environment either activates or deactivates the genes that's needed. So it took, through generations of living with humans, these genes they just lost their tone, their statement within the behavior of these deers. If you ever try to get I wanted a wolf dog, a wolf for a pet, because dogs domesticated, they're useless. Because I want to live in a rural area, I want a dog with heightened sense. A country dog is different than a city dog. When we were children, we would sneak up and scare dogs. What the hell am I going to be out in the wilderness with a dog that can be snuck up on? You ain't even using your nose the way your brother would in the wilderness. I need heightened sense of I need you hearing ranges what I don't hear. And I need that to be, you hear for an alarm system, buddy. You serve no purpose if you're just a fucking pet. Okay? That wolf is heightened senses all the way because it's got to survive. They got to eat that food. They don't get food every day. It may be 1 in 3 days. They may eat once in 7 days. They may eat twice in 7 days. They are innovation. It's like going to New York. All that competition, people, they innovation and hustle, they will drive you crazy, make you want to fight their ass. These motherfuckers are persistent sellers. But environment, activated genes, they probably, you sit down and talk to them, they probably seen their parents, their uncles, their brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters doing the same thing. Then their environment requires that there. That's why they're regional cultures. People have different dialects and the people in Boston don't talk like people in Baltimore. People in New York don't talk like people in New Jersey. The Midwest got their own dialect. California got their own dialect. regions, and they're not state borders. They ain't got nothing to do with it. Wherever that region is, that the Schumann rhythm, it plays its parts, of affecting, the region and behavior, phenotypes and whatever. People from certain parts of Africa, they have the same kind of bone structure. They came from a long lineage of a family line. They probably got similar genetics and all that stuff, because it's going to date back to probably one big family empire. You got to understand what they're extracting from the ground. The resources that's in that percentage in that ground that produces different vegetations. These vegetations are going to create different genetic drifts and different different phenotypes, different animals, different flora and fauna. All that going to play a part in that region, in that area. Just the damn magnetic frequencies coming from the ground in relationship and the minerals thereof. But you try to you can't find a 100% wolf dog. They're gonna advise you not to. They're gonna say you look up advertisement. They're gonna cost you, wolf a keto mixture, wolf German Shepherd mixture, 70%, 90%, 80%. They don't do 90%. They're gonna advise you no more than 7% wild wolf, because they would advise that it's going to be hard to train the wildness out of that wolf. And you're going to have to understand how, you're going to have to be, the dog whisperer or whatever, to understand if you're going to have the pet, you're going to have to be the leader of the pack. That's their society reality. That's the way they understand. They're pack animals. That's it. There's a dominant male and a bunch of females, and a few scraggler males, beta males. Just like lion pride, there's no other male. There's only one male and a bunch of females. He provides the territory for them to grocery shop. Gazelles and buffalo and stuff like that. When you take the female out of that natural environment and put them in zoos, the male have no purpose. And what the females do, when you look online and Google, you'll find that in a few different zoos, the females teamed up and killed the male because they're not in their natural environment. He has no purpose. So how to deal with that? I was watching just a while ago. This is what inspired this video, and plus I had recently watched my videos and I need to do better. I seen a human take on the parents the position of parenting two bears. The mother got killed or something. I'm like, how is it going to teach certain things to these animals? How are you going to nurture their genes that it takes for them to survive? They're going to always have no fear of humans. How do you teach hibernation? How do you teach that dogs usually mean humans, and you hear barking dogs, you go the opposite direction? Different things like that. How do you teach this? How do you teach that? How do you teach this? Activate genes, information, nurture, nature. I call it genes. It may not be that. You can call it training or whatever. But I'm telling you, whatever we do, it's like what the elders used to say. You acting bad now, but boy, you scoring those children that you're going to have to deal with that behavior. That goes to tell you what I'm saying right now is nothing new. We've been doing that. My mama, to this day, asks if if there's an interest, what's our people's name? That's still an interest. It goes back to the hunter-gatherer groups. You get on, not, I ain't gonna go back that far, but in a society, in a community, the family reputation was very important. That's why it was important to know what family, who you uniting us with, because in our societies, and it shows that, our genetic diversity is genetic information intelligence from generations and generations back is still strong to this. It still carries to this day. Because in our societies, it was surrounded around the betterment and bringing the person and the family to their full spiritual potential or full potential. So the structure and other society was not about manufacturing and consumption like it is here to make humans into cogs. And that's why you got this dysfunctional shit. They don't give a damn about the human being. You just a cog for some rich person. What the industry needs. That's what it's about. And that's why they have these short ass civilizations that last about 200, 250 years. Dominating of the Dutch to about 1600s. Dominating of the British until World War II. That domination of America that's about to go down. That's in the process of a civilization in decline. But look how stuff carries. You know? Look at the Bible and the Quran. It's just like with my mother. How do they greet? These books of lineage. Everybody greets it. I am Isaac, son of David, son of, Job or whatever. They go back 3 generations. And the Quran is Ibn, I-B-N, Ibn. Esau, Ibn Maryam, supposed to be Jesus, right? Supposed to be Jesus. Book of family lineage and bloodlines. That's it. Because that was the previous order. And it was still dominant, even though it was kind of, it was still dominant. But when Christians took over, they want to make sure everything about that era was dead. That's the reason why they don't want none. The woman is nothing. Because under our systems, there was always a masculine and feminine expression, like I said, of the universe, a deity. Now with this, I'm gonna get into the God concept, and for me, why it's useless. Let's go through the life of a person. Okay, I was told about God 2 or 3 years old. Not necessarily me, but they're just stories, make it relatable, right? And then I was told how God is, what makes him happy, what makes him sad. So I get to give my imaginary friend my particular personality range. What behaviors and what you do and all this stuff, what makes him happy, what makes him sad. And you pray for it. He wants, you get whatever you want if you just pray for it. The genie in the bottle, bull crap. I don't care if it's Bible, I don't care if it's Quran, it's still the same thing. The genie in the bottle, that's what ultimately the God concept is to me. Genie in the bottle, make your wishes or pray. Same damn thing. Okay. I'm going to pray to pass tests. I'm going to pray to get the mate I want, the house I want, the job I want, the guns I want, because God wants me to have all those things that I want. So you just make God into your image. And I know people who believe heavily in God, but they got siblings that, homosexual married, and they just have, I don't care nothing about the homosexual stuff. God just, love is love and da-da-da. And they, damn, a few years ago, I bet you wouldn't say it that, but that's just where you're at now. You get to tell what your God wants. Wow, personal God concept, that's surely what it is. And now you got a sibling, now you won't say nothing about it. Hell, I got my oldest daughter's a faggot. I don't care. I'm glad I'm part of honor. I'm glad she can't be. White man you're a freak. Yeah, stay in the white man's world. We don't need you. Shit. We need heterosexual relationships. I agree with Ayn Rand when she said about the religion is a low self-esteem maker. Because everything that you believe, because every time you achieve the desired result, you give the credit to God. Every time you don't achieve, it's your fault. You didn't pray enough, tithe enough, be charitable enough. You take all the negative, you give all the positive away. I couldn't have done it without God. I prayed a lot in life. I was, again, practicing Muslim. It made me feel good, but at times, so I understand, it's an alignment. It's not to get anything, it's an alignment. I wouldn't mind praying if I had a greenhouse or a garden, get to that door and I want to go in amongst that fruit and vegetables like the rice experiment. I want to be in the highest level of spirit to produce the best quality of food. These plants take care of me. You might well call them our ancestors, you know. They are feed, you know, this is what's going to become cells in my body. I'm starting an external relationship because soon there's going to be an internal relationship. Okay? And that's going to help me if I apply that in my people relationships. Okay? If we're on the same code. Some people I'm just going to tolerate because you're on America's platform and all you're going to be is a constant conflict. You know? So, you know, if your God always wants everything you want, where's the guidance of that? Like I said, this holy roll person, because they got a sibling that's homosexual and married, now is love, and you know, it doesn't matter about gender. That's what the church, when they started rewriting their constitution, because the state said that, you know, they marry women and men, and it's head Episcopal Baptist Church. They rewrite the constitution of what marriage defined as. So who's running the church? It's constantly man making God in his image. It's not God making man in his image. Y'all got it backwards. Okay? I was talking to my friend last night. And he was talking about a friend that a homie that grew up under an abusive father, and it's not a wonder that he's an abuser today. Yeah. 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 Okay? It was in his genetics. It's like alcoholism. They say if your father's an alcoholic, you have like a 75% chance of becoming an alcoholic. If your grandfather is an alcoholic, you have a 50% chance. That's strong. It can skip generations. I don't know if there are any sound wisdom too, but they, like in the Bible, I think it says the sins of a father can follow a man for 7 generations. The Neptune cycle, 7 years to make a complete circle. A lot of things is your credit. There's a lot of things running on that 7-year cycle. Neptune thing. Again, it's going to be a small percentage of the population. It's a reason why. 7 years. On the credit thing. I'm not talking about on that level. I don't know that. To cap it at 7 years. That rippling effect. If I decide to be a junkie, how many generations will be affected? Because it seemed like, my life, like what did my parents do? Why? It seemed like the universe don't want me to make it in this motherfucker. It's a hard life. Operating outside the damn system and things. Your name and social security number is useless. That's some hard shit. So, I could have been a stillborn. You didn't do this shit. We didn't have to do this shit, man. I could have just made me a stillborn. But yeah, so this son grows up from this abusive father whose genes carried the abuser gene, and then the environment that nurtured that gene manifested it in the son's later behavior. It was easy transit. It was easy for him. It just seems natural. The only way he would probably have there's no telling what kind of conversation you get if you ask the right questions with the cat. Of how strongly and inner driven that is in him. As they said, in the basis of psychology, environment begets behavior. If the environment is nurturing it, it determines. If your sensories is getting information, it is writing and encoding for the next generation. It's an adaptation, evolutionary biology. Evolution, it is a progressive change. It is encoded in you for progressive change. This is the science of mating and understanding behavior and environments. Activated genes, deactivated genes. White folks study everything. Do you know how many genes they have deactivated in us to make us who we are? An asset to the white power structure? The oppressed cooperating with their oppression? Do you know what they put on TV, what they teach you, and everything else? You don't understand that. So that's more of a guide for me. and understanding things. I don't see the prophecy of Scripture, because once you understand how society works, if you're not on natural law, a system that harmonizes with the development of the human being, then you're on carnal desires. You're structuring your society by things that's beneficial to man. And that's why you're going to have these short-lived societies. You're constantly trying to plug the hole in the dam of your society, and there's going to be another one, and up to the whole thing collapse. That's what's going to continue to happen, because you're not bringing the human to its full potential. You're trying to control the human. And that's the white psyche. It is definitely about control. So, well, that's it for this morning. I hope this is a better video than my last two. Thank you for your time.